Today, my wife, her mother and I are taking a train from Purwokerto to Yogyakarta to spend Christmas and New Year in various cities in Indonesia that are less visited by foreign tourists. Unfortunately, our journey got off to a hectic start. Right at the beginning, we had an accident that caused us to miss our train.
I'm in the train station right now, and unfortunately we missed the train. So we are just waiting here to buy the next train ticket, but we are still unsure whether we can get it. So we will see. If you ever find yourself in the same situation, missing your train, we suggest waiting at the train station and purchasing the next available ticket through the go-show system. This means buying a ticket less than 2 hours before departure, which is much cheaper than buying a ticket further in advance. This is exactly what we did, waiting at the station to buy our next ticket via go-show. Luckily, we managed to get go-show tickets, reducing the price from around $30 per person to just $8.5 each for the executive class. We then moved to the main waiting area, closer to the train tracks. Here we enjoyed a band playing old Indonesian songs, which helped us relax as we watched my mother sing along with the band. Once we boarded the train, we sat separately but still in the same carriage, as there were not many seats left since we booked the tickets through a go-show. The seats come with tables for working or eating, as well as power outlets. Trains are one of the main modes of public transportation on Java Island. They are more convenient, punctual, and efficient, stopping in many cities that aren't easily accessible by plane. You can choose from economy to first-class trains, and tickets can be booked online. Traveling by train in Java also offers beautiful views, with plenty of rice fields and mountain landscapes to admire. If you get hungry along the way, every Indonesian train has a restaurant carriage where you can buy food and drinks. I decided to check the restaurant carriage. If you plan to leave your seat, make sure to keep your valuables safe and never leave them unattended, as thieves are common in Indonesia. As you can see, the restaurant is quite busy. You might have to wait for a seat, or you can take your food back to your seat. In this restaurant, there is also a prayer room for Muslims. After a smooth ride on the executive train, we reached Yogyakarta in under 3 hours. We headed to the pickup area where my brother was waiting to take us from the station. Before calling it a day, we decided to try a new restaurant in Yogyakarta that serves Padang food. Padang cuisine is one of the most popular dishes in Indonesia, originating from Padang. And you can find Padang restaurants in almost every city in Indonesia. In traditional Padang restaurants, various dishes are served on the table and you only pay for what you take and eat. You can also order additional dishes from the waitstaff. After a lovely dinner, we went to my brother's house to relax. Well, our journey isn't over yet, as we still have more to explore in Yogyakarta the following day.
From beautiful Yogyakarta in Indonesia. Now I and my wife are going to Malioboro. That is a touristy area in the downtown of the city where you can find a lot of interesting spots, attractions and cafes. Because of the Christmas holidays, the traffic today is huge. That's why many taxi drivers refuse to go to Malioboro. If you see a huge traffic like this, probably many taxi cars will refuse to grab you. But if you are traveling alone, you can always book a motorbike taxi, because on a motorbike it will be much faster. Malioboro is the historical heart of the city and the main gathering place for tourists. Personally, I'm not a fan of noisy, crowded spots, but visiting the heart of Yogyakarta is a must. We started at kilometer 0, the point where all the main streets converge. To the left is Malioboro Street, and to the right is the Sultan's Palace. Since we're already in Malioboro, our first destination here is a store where we can buy traditional Japanese herbal drink.
And also souvenirs. So if you're looking for souvenirs, this store also sells souvenirs.
Here is the store. This store is quite famous and you will find it mentioned in almost every guidebook about Yogyakarta.
I explained that in front of me is the Beringharjo market, where they sell batik fabrics and Japanese clothing. Now, I'm standing next to a statue of the store's owner. Although the owner is a man, this female statue represents a character he created while performing in Ketoprak, a traditional Japanese comedic drama, and he named the character Raminten. So, let's check the store. Right at the entrance, there is a gazebo where they sell Jamu, a traditional herbal drink, which is the main reason we came here. Jamu comes from Old Japanese. It's a blend of two words, jampi, which means healing or prayer, and usodo, which means health. It's made from a mix of herbs and spices, and people believe it helps with both health and beauty. There are many variations of jamu, but we decided to try two of the most popular ones in Indonesia, kunyit asam and beras kencur. I chose kunyit asam, made from turmeric and tamarind. It's known for its anti-inflammatory properties. And my husband, Kamil, he tried beras kencur, made from rice and aromatic ginger. It is traditionally consumed to alleviate fatigue and improve appetite.
Actually, I decided to try both Jamu drinks. I liked them both, but my wife's version was more sour, which I preferred. Maybe it is because in Central Russia, where I am from, sour flavors are popular, and our traditional cuisine includes many sour soups. Overall, I really enjoyed the Jamu and recommend everyone try it. However, if you don't like strong herbal flavors, you might find Jamu a bit bitter. After buying some Jamu and even a few bottles to take home, we decided to explore the shop. The place is packed with tourists, especially during the holiday season. In another part of the building, they also have Ketoprak performances, cabaret shows, and a photo studio where you can rent traditional Javanese clothing. You could say this shop is a one-stop destination in Yogyakarta. I noticed a white family had hired a guide. Fortunately, since my wife is Indonesian, I didn't need to spend extra on a guide to help me navigate and understand everything. This is a photo of the owner of the store when he plays a character. On the first floor, besides Jamu, they sell batik fabrics and clothing, so we decided to head upstairs. Here we can observe the portraits of the sultans of Yogyakarta. Here we found many souvenirs, ranging from affordable to premium. This is the first time in my life when I see a bag made from wood. These are keychain souvenirs that you can buy only for $1. This one with Chris is actually pretty good. A lot of figures with shadow puppet characters, and with some of them you can even play. Some handmade, interesting, or just funny. As my wife told me, this character is some kind of Superman who has the skin made from iron or steel and who cannot be killed without a special weapon. Portraits of the owner when he is playing in the theater. At the exit, we saw a performance of Javanese musical instruments. The melodies somewhat remind me of Indian music.
Hujan angin dodar gelap, teu aya pisan keringyuhan, sanajan awak rancucu teu paduli.
Outside the building, we saw the schedule for ketoprak and cabaret performances. We found a pretty cool modern art installation about garbages. I see a lot of white tourists around. Yogyakarta is really very popular, not like Purwokerto where I was staying for the last couple of months. Sometimes I see old buildings in the Dutch colonial style architecture. On our way out, we came across a store selling various types of bakpia. Bakpia is a must-try traditional snack in Yogyakarta, and many people buy it as a souvenir. It is a small pastry made from mung beans and sugar. It is originally from China. The recipe used pork, but in Indonesia, where many people are Muslims, they replaced pork with mung beans. Yogyakarta is where the first halal bakpia was made, so you will find many shops and bakeries producing and selling it as a souvenir. Over time, bakpia has evolved with modern innovations, offering a variety of flavors and preparation methods. I also tried this brand before and it is really good. So we decided to try something new with a brand we hadn't tasted before. It has modern packaging with a youthful design and a chocolate filling. You can also buy here this modern coffee in the filter. So all you need to do is just pour the filter in the hot water and after 5 minutes it will be ready. To enjoy the dessert and relax, we decided to find a cafe. Along the central street of Malioboro, it is common to see people in traditional Javanese clothes having a photo shoot. So many people who want to take pictures in the traditional clothes on the street. By the way, during my time in Indonesia, I noticed that Indonesians absolutely love coffee, and it is not hard to find a coffee shop here. There are particularly on every corner. If you prefer international chains, almost every city has a Starbucks where you can grab a cup. However, we decided to stop by a popular local cafe called House, which means thirsty in Indonesian. They have a huge selection of drinks, always updating with new varieties. The unique part is that all the waiters are dressed in traditional Javanese attire. Let's try bakpia first. I tried bakpias many times before, but not this brand. So I want to check this brand as well. The chocolate-filled bakpia was quite tasty. In Indonesia, you can often find cheap, low-quality chocolate that tastes like plastic, but this one was an exception.
The chocolate is good. Okay.
Bakpia reminds me of a tartar pie with cottage cheese, which is popular in central Russia, probably because of the similar texture of the dough. After a light snack, we continued exploring. On the central streets of Yogyakarta, as in many other cities in Indonesia, you will often see horse-drawn carriages designed for tourists to ride. My wife asked me to discuss this in more detail since she loves animals and advocates for them. So, behind the scenes, we decided to sit down and talk about the issue with the horses.
I sponsor Delman horses actually. So I have seen many cases when these horses cannot work anymore and they are sold to slaughterhouses to be slaughtered, which is really sad reality. And they are also malnourished. Proper care for horse is expensive, but many of their owners are also in difficult economy situations. They have low income, so many of horses are neglected. I think in Indonesia, we should concern about this more to replace horse transportations with something more modern, especially if we cannot give proper care for horse. In Turkey, when I was there, on Prince Island, there were a lot of horses there, but today they replaced horse with something like more modern. So I didn't see any horses there because many visitors, tourists will rent bicycle to explore the island.
Aku tidak tahu lagi masa penuh pada siapa rindu ini kan ku beri, pada siapa rindu ini kan ku beri. Lihat aku.
As we are walking around Malioboro for quite a while, we try to reapply sunscreen every 3 to 4 hours. The sun here in Indonesia can get pretty intense, so if you are coming from a non-tropical country, I really recommend bringing the best sunscreen you can find and reapplying it throughout the day.
If you go straight to that street, you will find there the icon of Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is some kind of Los Angeles of Indonesia. So this is a city of artistic people. A lot of artists, a lot of creative people, musicians come here because they have good universities, good institutions, and you can start your art career here. That's why Yogyakarta is considered the cultural capital of Java. It offers a wide range of options for tourists and anyone who wants to learn more about Indonesian culture. Traditional performances, theater shows, and numerous museums, palaces, and cultural centers can be found here. Behind me is the place, actually that is the museum Sunobodoyo, where you can watch different performances, mostly dances and theatrical dramas. But because it is holidays, they don't have any performances for the next day. So unfortunately, we cannot go there. Here are the most famous performances. The first one is about Yogyakartan's story. The second is just classic Indonesians performance about common Indonesian culture. And the third one is just shadow puppet characters. It is already 4 p.m. The evening is approaching, and we're heading back home to rest and recharge for our next adventure. Old guys playing chess. It's actually so retro. I want to play with old guys chess as well. Hope one day I will do it. As I mentioned earlier, since it is a holiday, many taxi drivers don't want to go to the city center, so we decided to walk a little to a quieter area with less traffic. We left the main street and it is much quieter here. For some reason, these streets remind me of Italy, with the sunny weather, passing Vespas, and the charming, one-story residential areas. We came across a group of stray animals, cats and a dog. This dog looks purebred, so I assumed it had run away from its owner and gotten lost. If we hadn't decided to walk here, we might not have met these stray animals. Even though we had already ordered an online taxi, we took the time to stop by a mini market and buy food for them. God provides for all his creatures. and perhaps this is one way he provides for these hungry animals. As you may have noticed, Indonesia still faces challenges with animal welfare, but I've seen how the economy here is improving, and I'm hopeful it is only a matter of time before the issues with animals will be addressed. Well, it is evening, dark and rainy, but despite this, we will go to the famous ancient temple called Prambanan, where we will see the performance with the Indonesian celebrities. By the way, today is New Year's event, so at Prambanan we will not only see performances from famous Indonesian singers, but also fireworks to ring in the new year. The festival is planned to go on until late night. December and January are the rainy months in Indonesia, and we have to drive about 30 kilometers through the rain and darkness. However, it feels cozy and a bit melancholic. We finally arrived at the festival site. We decided to buy raincoats because it is still rainy. The parking lot was packed with cars, and it was clear there would be a huge crowd. The once green fields had turned into a muddy mess from so many people walking on them. There is the festival, not as much people as I expected to see here. And there is the temple. Actually, observing the temple for me is much more interesting rather than seeing the performance. iPhone is really bad for shooting at night, but anyway, the temple looks so majestic. It's so gorgeous. Some people making photos with that temple background. I tried to make photos too, but they are not good because of the darkness. Not only has here a music performance, but this New Year's event also features a musical dance drama about the legend of how the Prambanan Temple was formed. Actually, my wife and I prefer the dance performances, although she seemed to really enjoy the songs from her favorite singers at the concert. This singer, Vina Panduwinata, has been around since the 80s, and it is amazing how many young people still know the songs and sing along. Looks like this artist is still a hit with the younger crowd, staying timeless. It was quite fascinating. But it will be the whole night, and at 12 they will have fireworks. We decided to take a break to enjoy some food while waiting for the fireworks. The food stall is from one of Yogyakarta's well-known catering services, Nanduto. My Indonesian family loves Nanduto's food as they eat it quite often. We tried a few traditional Indonesian dishes with a modern twist. It was quite funny enjoying the food and drinks in the rain, wearing raincoats and holding umbrellas. We ended our New Year's event with a fireworks display. While it wasn't the most spectacular show, it was still special, especially since the fireworks were set off at a cultural heritage site, so there might have been a lot of regulations about the display. On a camera that temple isn't seem big, but actually it is so huge. Because it is very dirty around, someone just throwed away his shoes. This New Year's celebration was incredibly memorable for me, as I got to see the beauty of the Prambanan Temple at night and spent the occasion with my family.